Welcome to Season 4 of the Get Set podcast, an old girls entertainment production. We are so thrilled to be here on the pod sharing our experiences as women in the TV and film industry. It's your co-host here, Jessica Payne, and
Monique Schwaneman. And also someone we've been wanting to get, I'm so excited, someone we've been wanting to get on the podcast since season 1. She is Compton born and raised and a SAG-AFTRA member for over 2 decades, worked on shows including Preacher, Baskets, NCIS, The Body, and more. And the person we always name drop in our Old Girls origin story because she introduced us 5 years ago. Actor, director, and educator, Charlotte Williams Roberts. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Jess and Mom, I'm here.
Yes,
we're
finally,
so excited.
Finally.
I do want to just say real quick that we literally owe you all of this because
big time.
Again, just another thread for the season. We've had 2 threads kind of going on, and one of them's multi-hyphenate. The other one is networking. We've really stressed networking because it's been so massive for us. Yeah. And I will say during the pandemic, Charlotte and I went to a virtual networking event from, I think they're called Moonshot now, but they were called Women's Weekend Challenge or whatever.
Yeah, it was a film, collaboration.
Yeah. And we got put into mini rooms to kind of try and network with different people. And then honestly, Charlotte, I think, was the only person that I reached out to afterwards, or I don't know, I can't remember if it was during it or what, but we got contacts either way. And I just was like, hey, I have an idea. I know you're an actor. I have some director friends because I was just coming out of college. I had some really great women directors that I knew that would be, down for the experience. And we kind of got together and I said, bring your actor friends. I'll bring my director friends. Maybe we can do some scenes over Zoom and just keep our tools sharp and network with one another. And we did. And then that's how everything started. That's how I met Mo. That's how oh my gosh, it's just so crazy. And I've also had the chance to direct Charlotte as well in a web series that we did together too. So that was really fun. But anyways, we just wanted to I just wanted to put that out there. So once again, the follow-up on a network is massive, and you never know who you're going to meet through different people. And oh my gosh, so indebted to you. And we love you, adore you so much.
And like you said, and the seeds of networking are so important. And sometimes I think we as creatives forget that it's not about my next project, my next assignment. Sometimes it's just about planting those seeds. And I feel like Issa Rae said it best. We sometimes is, starting out, or maybe we've been in the field for 10, 15 years, and we're always trying to communicate upwards. I got to talk to Tyler Perry. I got to talk to Issa Rae. Shine your lines. Hear me roar. But it's about communicating across, networking across. And that's how you build up. And so I feel like, Mo, you met Charles and got to work with Charles through that collaboration. Or through meetings, working on our reels and our films. And so it's like you said, collaborating across the board, people who are like-minded and have the same mission and purpose as you is who you want to network with, because then those will be the people that you're in those executive boardrooms with. Those become your Shondas, those become your Tyler Perrys or Issas, so yeah, I love that.
Oh my gosh, I already have goosebumps. And then Charlotte, just for backstory, Charlotte and I know each other because we got our BFAs roughly around the same time. I was the year right before Charlotte, and then she got hers. And Charlotte, just seeing your face, hearing your voice, it just lights my heart up. You have, clearly were always a talented person. You were one of the people that we'd watch in shows in college and be like, oh, no brainer, she's going places. But it's also, yes, you're talented. You are an immense sweetheart, and you just always treat everyone with kindness and respect. And I'm sure you have your moments. I haven't seen any bad ones, 0. And it's been I've known you for over a decade. Even though we see each other here and there, we have worked together. And it's 100 out of 10. You're incredible.
We won't talk to my husband then. We won't bring him on.
Yeah, no. Let's not bring him. Mine either.
He has a different thought. It's so important because, you never know who you're meeting, and I think that's vital with our industry. It's treat everyone as how you want to be treated. So yeah, that's just like mom and dad upbringing.
Yeah.
We have to respect it. I'm huge on that, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we're not done gushing about you, but let's get into it. Let's get into the meat. I know, like it'll be sprinkled in throughout, but like, yeah. So let's go ahead and start in your own words, who you are and where you call home.
Yeah, so I'm Charlotte Williams Roberts now, but I'm from Compton, California, born and raised. I love to say I got my roots from theater in the church. The church is not on me, it's in me. I love God. And that's where I found my level of creation and performance and connecting with people. So my dad's a pastor. I'm a PK. And
pastor's kid.
Pastor's kid, yes, for those that don't know. PK, pastor's kid. And
I was like, what does that mean?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
I'm so glad we answered that. Sorry, I have no religion background at all. So.
And I always, like I said, with being a PK, I was, always there needed to be a Mary in the nativity scene, right? And so I always just found that love of performing. And around 7 years old, my dad heard about a school that was looking for students basically to enter into their acting program. So long story short, I did that. I loved it. And then I wound up doing background. And oddly enough, background is how I became a part of SAG. I was doing this project, wind up, I was just supposed to be a background character, but the lead character wind up like picking me up in this scene, improving, and spoke to me. And he asked me how I was doing. And I said, fine. And everyone was like, cut, she wasn't supposed to speak. But like they loved it. And so I immediately became must join. And so my mom, thankfully then, that was 2003, paid the union dues.
I have chills. Like that was literally my next question because I know this story. This story is the stuff that dreams are made of.
Yeah.
And like 7-year-old Charlotte had no idea how much my mom and at that point I was like being set up for success. One, because the union dues at that point I think were like $1,200, $1,500. And so mom.
And now they're triple that.
Now they're triple that.
No.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know what 5 is, but they're 5 times that.
Yeah, definitely like 3 to 5 times. So thankfully mama paid that bill. And then I got an agent from there. I kind of took a break around high school because I went to LACHSA, Los Angeles County High School for the Arts. And I was really integrated into my discipline there with theater. And so we had shows and rehearsals. So I couldn't act as much. And then college, our BFA, Mo knows, our BFA was also pretty rigorous and was
so rigorous.
Like, no outside work. So I honored that. But right after I graduated from college, I hit the ground running. And I was like, I want to audition and get an agent and headshots. And so I did that and booked a couple things and co-starred. But I always also found a love for sharing my art with the younger generation. For me, it's like, well, what is it to have all this talent if you're not giving it back? And also too, I really value, for me, theater was not only a form of like self-expression, it was a form for me to build my confidence and connect with my creator and connect with other people, communicate with other human beings. And so doing that, I also graduated and I started teaching. And 10 years later, now I'm doing it full time at a really cool high school that I love and that I'm blessed to share my gift with and experience their gifts. And yeah, I guess I'll stop there for now, but that's a little bit about me and how my roots.
I love it. I really know that, Cal State Fullerton, where we went, was the perfect program for me at the time because I came from somewhere different. Like I did a lot of other extracurriculars in high school, knowing I still wanted to perform, but I wasn't really allowed to do both sports and theater. And so I'm like, well, look, I'm never going to be a pro athlete. This is my time if I have no other time. So I'm like, whatever. I know I'm going to be in the arts. I'll do sports and things like that and band, which I really wanted to do. So when I had to audition for college programs, I was lost. They were awful. I had no guidance, no coaching. I wasn't even in theater classes. I was just like, well, I used to do it in middle school. And so Cal State Fullerton was such a rigorous program, but it really built me from the ground up and gave me, because they did our we called it our jury process. They cut people every semester. So I was able to show my work ethic and grow and take in notes and then stay in it until I eventually made the BFA. I mean, you came from like, you were in it, you were already training before you came in. So how did the program really, I don't know, help or shape you going forward and launching you into your career?
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Like as far as the rigor, I do have to credit my high school though. LACSA was definitely an environment that established my work ethic, and it also affirmed that this is what I want to do. Because at that age, from 14 to 18, every day from 1 to 4, I was in a theater class. I was in a voice and movement class, or I had to take costume. I had to take makeup. And so I was really like, involved.
That's incredible for a high school.
It was absolutely transformative. And for me, some of my classmates, it was like, you know what? I don't want to do theater. Thank you. And I'm not interested.
This is hard as hell.
Hard as hell. Exactly. I just don't have to memorize lines. What? Like it's definitely a process. For me, I had the opposite kind of journey. I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. Thank you, Lord. I found my purpose and my calling. So I definitely have to credit a lot of my work ethic to my high school. But getting into college, it was definitely a different animal in a sense, right? Because now you have your GEs and you still have that balance of academics and the arts. But I think I established at Fullerton a little bit more of my voice and that self-esteem, and was more of how I wanted to share my art, right? Because it's everybody, I feel like, has a different purpose. There's, you're performing to express, you're performing sometimes to be a mirror to society, which yes, I am as well. But for me, I was like, there's such a level of confidence and growth that happens when you're getting in front of people every day and you're forced to be clear about your tactics and you're forced to be clear about your motivation and why you're doing and why you're saying what you're saying. And then listening, how important that is when you're compelled to do something, as far as the same story every night, but living it fresh. There's a certain level of self-growth that happens. And Fullerton was that for me. There are things that from Fullerton that I still all the time and invite into my classroom. And then there's things that I leave outside the door when I want to build self-esteem, right? So there's definitely things that I take and I have in my toolbox, of course, and there's things that I've Charlottified in a way.
Yes.
But yeah, Fullerton it definitely like sealed it, cemented. This is what I do.
I think so. Fullerton, please sponsor this podcast.
Yeah, right.
Like you guys,
a state school, please sponsor this podcast.
Right. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you because I feel that, and I felt this at Fullerton, and I hear about this a lot wherever people go, is that the business side of things is not really talked about and is not really gone over. And so you hone your craft and then you're kind of thrown to the wolves in terms of like how to even make this work. We had an audition class that I felt personally was like the thing that went over the business side of things the most, but is, launching yourself from college into the real world, let's say, is there like a biggest piece of business advice that you would tell people, or logistical advice when you made that leap?
Yes, that is definitely one thing that if I could, relive my experience at Fullerton or just reshape in a sense, I think there should be an audition class or business class every semester because the business is constantly evolving. And so
why wasn't there we had to do theater management, but we never did like taxes or LLCs incorporated. Like what?
Exactly. And then even just, I feel like establishing your worth as far as ownership with your agent. I think with young performers, we're so under the impression that we work for them.
Yes.
But it took about 8 years to realize, oh, you work for me and you're taking my money.
Right.
And there's an ownership that comes with that. When I say these are the headshots that I want, or this is the type of role, and this is the type of artist that I see myself as, I really need to find that community that supports that. And so that's something that I feel like is but when you're 18 to 22, sometimes you're not seeing that. You're just eager and open, and you want to sign me. Yes, hire me. And so there's also just like class as far as self-worth in the business that I think could be really, really imperative. But as far as like business advice that I would give, I don't want to say yes to everything, because you really, sometimes there's power in the word no. But when I say yes, I mean, as far as networking and exposing yourself to as many opportunities in this field that you can without, overextending yourself. Because sometimes as young creatives and creatives in general, we can say yes to a lot of stuff that will not serve us. But sometimes I think we also, we turn down opportunities that can really be inspiring growth in us. Like say yes to those opportunities to be the production assistant, say yes to those opportunities for you to go and volunteer to work lighting for somebody, to work costumes. Like I learned so much behind the scenes and doing background than I could ever being on set every day. Because when you're on set as an actor, you're just in your trailer a lot of the time until they call you to set. But when you're, working background or you're, shadowing a production assistant or anything like that, you learn so much. When you do those student films for, the colleges, you learn so much. And so my advice would be, that's really how you learn, saying yes to the things that you may think won't serve you, or you may think, oh, no one can see that I'm doing quotes. I did that in quotes because those things actually like build up who you are, and you learn so much. So that would be my advice. If you can say yes to those things that are a little bit more, maybe behind the scenes, or helping somebody in casting, helping somebody in management, you'll be surprised in how much that can actually help the business side for you with your performing artistry. Yeah.
Like, I mean, personally, I'm on the behind the scenes type side of everything. And I do see, because I mean, whenever we bring actors to set, I mean, I see they're stepping on the set. We've been on the same set that we've been on for 6 hours. They're stepping on for the first time. And they're like, where's the bat? Like, what do we do? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, they're there for their craft and they're doing their thing. But like, especially those who are like, the guest starring and like all of that, like they have no idea like where anything is, who anyone is, like what anyone's job. I mean, even with conversations between me and Mo, like Mo's like still like sometimes like, wait, what does this person do? What does that person do?
Sometimes
Like,
every time I go to set, every time I go to set, I'm like, Jessica, do you know anybody on this set? Surprisingly, like I think you always have.
Oh my God.
And, at least like one person typically.
Yeah. And I'm like, what? I was like, this person is doing this job, but I thought you said that role does this. And you're like, well, there's some differences and this person shouldn't really be doing that job. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I'm like trying to pick up like, because there's so many, I don't know, there's so many things like as a mom too, I'm like, I need to know who to go to if my costume isn't fitting right, or like I need to go pump, and like what's the realistic time frame. And I don't want to go to the wrong person and, pull them out of their element when, I want to go to the appropriate person who's actually going to help me.
I also think that it does, yes, knowing where the questions should land is also like really big, but I also think it helps actors understand why certain things are taking so much time, or, like why. And I think that just like kind of peace of mind as well, if you're thinking about like, well, I'm here to do this art. So that way you don't get inside your head as well. If you understand the process and you understand it's not that like we're waiting on something over here broke, or we're waiting on this light or whatever it is. And it's not just that like, we're taking our time or not
valuing anything to actors.
No, absolutely not.
The biggest difference as far as like from theater and film, because in theater as actors, I'm used to hearing that feedback from the director, like, oh yes, I saw that moment, or take more time there. In film, you don't get that. As an actor, the director sometimes isn't even, they're looking at the shot, but they are not looking at you,
Right.
There's so many lighting, shadows, audio things, lenses that they're exploring and looking at and really, dissecting, that your performance is the least of their concerns. And so, and having that confidence that you've done the best take, and not being so eager sometimes to hear those compliments or feedback, because you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it.
Yeah.
When you hear moving on, you did your job, and there you go.
Yeah. That's the biggest compliment.
Exactly.
We nailed it. Yeah.
Exactly.
So true. So let's talk a little bit about how you got into teaching, because you and I feel like we did have similar journeys in the fact that like before I started working full-time for, my full-time side job, I was working like 4 or 5 different part-time jobs at a time. And you were definitely doing that also. And so, we were in this like hustle, but then also trying to make our artwork. How is that First of all, how did you get into teaching? I know you talked about like the love for, community and building community and sharing that. And then also how is, full-time, serving you better?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So what a journey. And, it's still a transition of accepting this full-time position, because part of me still is like, I want to be out there auditioning. I want to be out there like hitting the pavement. And then part of me is also like, but I really like seeing my weekly paychecks. I really like that stability, that a full-time and that insurance. So it's just I don't want to say growing up, but I'm evolving in a different way, and my needs are different. And so I'm allowing myself to be okay with that. But how I got started, so I've, finished undergrad, and honestly, I was like, I want a job, and I have a degree, a BFA in acting. I should share this with people. And get money while I am auditioning. So I called up, oddly enough, a school called All About Kids, which is a school that I went to when I was 7 to 8. And it's about 7 to 10. I went there from about 7 to 10. And so I said, I wonder if that school's still around, what's happening.
Let me just think, little baby Charlotte. So cute. Sorry. I'm just like, that gave me a little image. I'm like,
wait, if you also side note, there was a commercial that you did where you did play this like little, I don't even know if it was like high school or whatever girl. And then you see her flash, I think it was, I don't know what it was. And then you see her flash forward and she's like working for NASA or something. Right. And I'm just like, oh my God, that is baby Charlotte. And look at her thrive. It was the perfect commercial.
I know. That's why, it paced. And like, obviously that commercial was shot in, the same time. So like, they just kind of changed my hair to make me look, a little younger. But so I was 7 years old, and I'm going to this school. This one school. I won't say the name, but my mom and we're going to this one school, and we're in this orientation. We go to the restroom, and we see this lady who's like, "Hey, I know you're here to go to this school." She said, "I want you to know that there's this other school that's really good. You should check them out." We finished this orientation at this one school, and the number was, astronomically expensive as far as to go there. So my mom said, okay, I'm going to hear what this lady in the restroom mentioned this school. Let me check out this school. It was called All About Kids. We get there and we discover she was the owner. She was the founder. And so she went to this.
She was going there to poach students.
Exactly.
So smart.
And she said and now that years later, now working for her, she went there to see, she's like, what are they telling people to get them to pay this much money? What is their pitch? And in that, she went in the restroom, saw me, and pitched, her school. But she didn't tell me that she was the owner. She just said, I know this school. You should go there. Long story short, I went there from 7 to 10. It was awesome. Loved it. And then I went to Loxa. So I kind of the hours didn't work out. But once I graduated from undergrad, I said, let's call her to see if she still has this school. Maybe she needs an acting teacher. God worked it out. We're literally that May I graduated from Fullerton, and that June her acting teacher had got another job somewhere else, so he couldn't no longer teach. So she brought me on my first term as a teacher assistant for the first term, and then a year later offered me a job at teaching. It was great because the school we only meet on Saturdays. It's an extracurricular school. We only meet on Saturdays. So from 2014 up until now, I'm still there. Now I'm the artistic director of All About Kids, but I basically was there every Saturday teaching young people acting, and it was awesome. I had 3 classes, and it was absolutely fabulous. And so from there, that really kind of established my pedagogy as far as teaching and why I teach. I teach because I really love to see the growth and transformation of young artists. And I decided to go back to school to really honestly just be a better resource for my students, right? You learn more, you can share more, and also you get paid more. But
right.
but yes, I was like, I want to go back. So I went back to 2 years ago. I decided to go to Loyola Marymount University. I got my master's in performance pedagogy. Woo-hoo. I'm a Lion now. Go Lions.
Oh my gosh. And that is such a good program too.
Oh my gosh. It absolutely, like I said, once again, establishing why I teach. Like I said, the pedagogy is not only, it's what, why, and how, right? What do you teach, why you teach it, and then how do you share those tools with your young artists? And then God just worked it out where literally 1 semester into my MFA, a job opportunity came up at the high school that I'm at, St. Mary's Academy. Go Bells. A friend reached out to me and said, hey, there's this part-time job. I think you'd be great for it. And so a semester into LMU, I get offered a part-time job teaching theater throughout the week. So I said, yes. Can I do that and go to school and work my Saturday job? God, can I? And he said yes. and right after finishing school this May, St. Mary's offered me a full-time job. So I'm just amazed at like how God is just like ordering my steps. So that's been amazing. But during my 20s, you asked about like the different side jobs. It felt good to do that because I really wanted to get out there, right? My journey was different in my personal life. I wasn't married, right? I really wanted to establish who I was as an artist, sharing my gift as far as like being on the screen. And so I've had so many side jobs. However, as an actor, I have not been a waiter. Can you believe it?
I know. Same. Yeah. I think you're the only other one that I know. Yeah.
I think because I had my side job of teaching, but I've done canvassing outside of grocery stores. I worked for Greenpeace for a while. I was a lawyer's assistant. Oh my God. I did work for a party entertainment place, but I washed dishes for them. Like I've had so many things to be able to done a lot. I worked at a dry cleaners as a customer service attendant. I've had quite a few side gigs. I taught at an after school program for a while to be able to, like I said, audition. And so when I say I have an audition, that job would say, you're annoying, but go. And so that allowed me to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't regret it. There is I'm glad that I went full time when I did, but there's a time and place for it for sure. It does kind of give you that fiery, mentality, and it does help keep you on your toes in terms of your schedule because you have all of these plates to juggle. And sometimes those side jobs feed into something that you need. One of mine, which is, I know you went there too, Charlotte. I went to an audition studio as a student, and then I was an assistant for them. And then I actually started teaching with them. And they, I had Fullerton that gave me my, foundation. They gave me my process for how to do on film auditions, and how to take, if you get something where you're like supposed to be running in a scene, like how do you do that? Right. Or you're supposed to get stabbed in a scene. Like how do you do that realistically? Have it not be cringe, as the kids say. Have it be, realistic. Right. It's a thing.
Right. And
it's a skill.
Exactly. Auditioning is it's like there's acting and then there's auditioning. And auditioning for camera, right? Auditioning for theater and then auditioning for camera. So yeah, it's
so different.
So different. And I'm still doing theater. I did a show last year, which was two shows. I did a theater festival, which was really fun, and then I did a show at LMU, and it's crazy because now a friend reached out to me and asked me to do a show in November, and I'm like, oh, do I want to do it? Because theater, the cool thing is I love the community that theater brings, but theater has a lot more rehearsals than film.
Oh, yeah.
So the commitment with your schedule, is a little more taxing. But
it's a lot more taxing.
A lot more taxing. And the pay is not as generous.
Right.
But I'm still meditating on that, see what I'm going to do.
Yeah. You've always kept I've always known you to at least be doing like a show a year or something. I always see you doing something.
I love it so much. And even when I say, okay, no, I'm not doing it. Like an opportunity comes and I'm like, oh, but I really love this show.
You get
or
sucked
I love
in.
These people, or I love that venue. Like I find something that I'm like, okay, maybe.
But that's a common through line with you too. And I mean, not to take away, I know you like audition and you of course work hard, but you are a person for good reason that's always top of mind to people. Like, we obviously we pulled you in for our table read and, because we're like, oh yeah, she has to be a part of this. So you are someone who, is always going to continue to get offers.
That's so
for
nice.
People. Yeah, you are.
You hear that? You pray? No.
Yeah. Yes. We're going to send her this recording.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I love that.
Is coaching, because I know you do coaching and teaching. Is there like a difference, do you think? Maybe, I don't know if it's the elevated timeline or, because with teaching you establish, I'm assuming like this vocabulary with your students that you might not have with coaching.
Right.
What's the difference been like for you with that?
Right. Absolutely. Like you said, with timeline, with teaching, I definitely, I'm because I know I have 9 months with these students, I'm able to it takes time for them to trust me. Right. And then trust themselves and then trust each other. So my timeline with teaching, I definitely have more time as far as like community building. Let's get to know each other, right? Let's bring in things. I love this one project that I do. It's called Identity Box, where we bring in different things that connect to our culture, our religion, our heritage, right? Just who we are, right? Different items that maybe we've had since birth or our grandmother or parents have given us. So with my teaching, there's more time to like establish that rapport. Coaching, usually my clients are referred from other people. So they come in with a level of like trust in the sense of like, okay, I was referred to you, or I've worked with you before, or I've seen your work. So there's that foundation a little bit established. But when I'm working with the client as far as coaching, I'm really trying to see what they bring, and then how can I pull out the best of what they have and guide it to fit the role that they've been required to do, or the tone or the world that is asked of them. Right. So coaching in that short amount of time, I'm looking at, okay, this is the canvas that they've given me, and it's awesome. And usually like clients, there's so much, it's really just getting them to trust themselves and to go fully into this canvas that they already have laid out. And so now then there's a tree on this canvas. They're coming in usually with some type of ideas. And I'm just really adding some glitter, some sparkle, getting them to trust themselves and like, yes, that's it. Go further in that direction. Right. So coaching enables me to see what they have and just pull out more. And teaching does too. It just takes sometimes a little longer.
Yeah. Especially teaching high school students, like, oh my gosh, they're going through so many changes and
right. Yeah. And our I feel like iGen is different in the sense, obviously, because this generation grew up and had the cell phones kind of like a part of their world already, and so it's getting them to have just a little bit more community with people and social interaction with people that are in front of them, which they surprisingly do want. Like it's I'm noticing like our high school students, they don't want to. Yes, they want to be on the phone, but they'd rather. There's like been surveys and statistics that show they feel better after going outside with their peers, right? And after being able to eat lunch with people and talk to them. Sometimes the phone is really just a outlet or an escape, but really people, we love this. COVID, we all lost our minds, right?
Yeah.
That's why online platforms were so vital during that time, because there's nothing like human interaction. And so theater for me and in my high school classroom is really just allowing them to have that 80 minutes that we have together. We are going to be together. And usually my students, they feel better afterwards, and so do I. And then they go to the phone immediately when the bell rings. But before those 80 minutes, we were in company.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That's a win.
It's a win. Exactly. A win's a win.
I also want to pivot for a second because, when I got your email this morning, I was like, oh my gosh, we have to add this in. So let's talk about one of your most recent jobs, which is your audiobook. And how did that journey even start? Because it's, I feel like, voiceover and audiobooks, they're both like, once you get in it, it's great. It's wonderful work. Everyone loves it. But it's even just, finding auditions for those things is kind of few and far between, or word of mouth. So how did that even come about for you?
Right. Like you said, few and far between. And also sometimes the process is longer. Like when you audition with film or TV, especially TV, you get that audition on Tuesday. You have that call back on Friday. By next Tuesday, you know, or Monday, you know, if you're on a veil. And Tuesday, you know, if you booked it or not. You know, like in a week span, you know what's up. Audiobooks, not so much. At least my experience with this one wasn't that way. So I auditioned for Descendants, We're Alive, August 2023. And
Stop.
Yes.
Stop. We're in 2025.
2025, August of 2025, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So I auditioned for that then, and it came through my manager. And she said, "Hey, I got this audition for you. It's an audiobook. You interested?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know, as actors, any audition, yes." And at that point, the union was on strike. So like this was 2023. So SAG had went on strike. Audiobooks I was still able to do though. So there was audition for it, and it came
a separate contract.
Right, a separate contract, right? And I want to say the strike ended July of 2023, maybe. So I was okay, but
okay.
Long story short, I auditioned. It was a SAG union project, and I auditioned for one role. They loved me, but in October they said, "Charlotte, we love you for this role, but we're going to go a different way. However, we have another role in mind for you, but this role doesn't come until season 2." And they auditioned me for season 1. So I was just like, okay. Whatever, you know, like, yes, I
booked the room at least.
I booked the room, exactly. And the audition, everything was via Zoom. And so, you know, so I wasn't in season 1, but they were like, "We have a role for you. You'd be perfect for season 2. I honestly kind of moved on, you know, life was lifing. So fast forward to July of 2024, they called me and said, "Hey, we're shooting season 2. You know, this character is in it. We record in August." So I recorded August of 2024. And it came out December of 2024. And now season 3 comes out December 2025. And I'll be shooting that next month, which is September 2025. So my character's still in season 3. It's kind of like an apocalyptic show. So hopefully Phyllis doesn't get killed off. But if you
Yay, Phyllis.
Hey, Phyllis.
Keep on going.
Right. I play Phyllis. She's like a bad chick. She's a military background and kind of navigating things in this apocalyptic world and handling business and dealing with cities and killing and beheading animals and creatures. So it's really, really cool. But yeah, that's kind of how it came about. And I just wanted to say something, Mo, because you mentioned booking the room, and I feel like that's what's the goal. And as actors, we hear that, but it can be discouraging when you go on auditions and you book avails and you don't book it. It can really, really get discouraging. But I've had a few auditions, even commercially, with the same people that I know are rooting for me and calling me back in. And I'm like, maybe this time, hopefully this time, right? So like, you know, when you have a casting director who knows your work and knows that you're going to give it your all, trust me, there is going to be something that comes up if you continue to you know, put in that work ethic and do your best work each time you go in that room. You can book the room and you will book the job eventually.
I mean, we talk about that all the time, though. We talk about that all the time, about booking the room. And one, it's just so crazy, Charlotte, that, I mean, I feel like everything that's like what we talk about of like showing up and doing the work and doing the thing, like you definitely embody that, in that even just from like the background side to getting your SAG, like that side is like, I mean, that's like, you know,
always prepared, always in it.
Yes. And then, you know, partly happenstance, but obviously that person like was inspired to, you know, pick you up and say something to you at that point. Yeah. And then just this too, because I think as well, like you definitely book the room for sure.
Every time.
I mean, every time. I mean, anything that we've brought you on for like different table reads and whatnot. I mean, and two, even the networking thing, obviously something like inspired me to like reach out to you at that point. You know, you definitely have like an air of like, I'm ready to and here to like work, and, you know, I'm a generous
being a good person.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you're definitely like open and like, and you give off that openness as well, which is really like commendable.
Thank you, Jess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry,
open
Mo,
to
what were
work
you gonna
with
say?
people. Yeah, open to work with people, but like you said, that self-assuredness and also confident in your choices.
Yeah.
Like you can pivot very fast with a note, but you come with an opinion and you come with having done the work. But
Well,
yeah,
and
no, I
then
had
sorry, let's also go back to, I mean, I'm even thinking whenever I first met you, I'm like, there's a reason I reached out to you. It was like that. I thought, because I was coming out of school and everything where I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And I was like, oh, this is like an actress who does know what she's doing, but she's also seems like kind enough that like maybe we could like actually collaborate together and like do something. I don't know. So yeah, there was literally that exact balance of like, she knows what she's doing and she probably knows people. And I don't know what I'm doing, but I want to work with her because she seems really kind and like awesome and open. So I don't know. That balance is like, and I think that's probably above like also your talent and your skill and everything. But that's probably the thing that draws people the most to you.
Yeah, I want to work with her is a strong vibe that you give.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very strong.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just acting like I do.
Yeah, you're just yourself, but you're a wonderful person.
Right.
Yeah.
Trying to definitely. Yeah, I learned tools, of course, along the way, but sometimes it's being open. You know what I mean? Like, and one thing that I loved about you, Jess, I felt this hunger in you. You know what I mean? Like when we connected that night, I was like, oh yeah, she's a writer who's like knows what she wants. Like she's like, yes, let's meet, and then follow up. You know what I mean? Like when you meet people, it's so important. I think sometimes we're like, okay, yeah, I'll be in touch. But if you can truly honor that and be in touch, like you'll be surprised with the relationships and the rooms that you can invite yourself more into if you like actually keep your word on keeping in touch. Totally. And that's a reminder to myself as well. Like even with everything, like leaving my LMU community, I'm like constantly reminding myself, keep in touch. And sometimes I even set reminders like, okay, December, send these professors a Merry Christmas, like send send these people like, hey, today's your birthday, because I want to make sure that like they're my mentors and I absolutely love them and I've learned so much from them. But also too, it's like seeing people as people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the community you cultivated.
Right. Exactly. Like I love them because of, who they are, not just like, oh, okay, I can maybe get a job, or like, oh my gosh, I want them to write me a letter of like recommendation one day. Like, people like that, that's what I want. And one, I just, like I said, I just love them. So.
Yeah. Really quick, because just a technical question. For the audiobook, did the audition come from Actors Access or did it come from a different platform?
I'm not sure.
Do you remember?
My manager sent it to me.
Oh, okay.
So so I don't know. She sent it to me, and it might have been.
Do you have the same manager or a different manager?
I do. I'm still rocking with Linda. Still
there you go.
Yes, Linda with DC Talent, who I absolutely love. One I love her because I think, like I said, it's so important that you develop a relationship with, especially people that you're going to be working with and that's doing your business, that's where they understand you and your purpose and what you want. And as far as like faith is, really important to me. And I've learned that that's important to my manager, Linda, as well. And so that relationship right there, when God is at the center of both people's lives, for me, I'm already like, okay, we're leading by a force that's supernatural. And so for me, that's something that I think is important to me. And two, I love the way she handles business, when it comes to money. You got to be right. And so, I've learned and I've seen her work ethic in that regard, which is, I'm like, why don't fix what ain't broke? My agency, on the other hand, has adjusted a little bit, but that's all in God's plan and timing too. And so I'm grateful for that as well. Yeah. My commercial agents are awesome. Shout out to John and Matt with,
yay.
Yeah. So
I love that. So now you've given us so many like good nuggets, so I could pull from anything, but I have a couple questions about advice. I know we talked about business advice. Is there anything general advice to actors starting out or educators starting their journey?
I'm learning this for myself, to never stop learning. I definitely got into a period probably like about 3 years after graduating from my undergrad, where I was just in the hustle. I was still taking classes and auditioning, but I kind of stopped reading. I was just in the world of acting, but there's such another world out there that, like, if you can really tap into reading books, staying on your current events, like just like growing and absorbing so much, that would be my advice, to just never stop learning and growing in your field, but also in just like things that kind of are outside of your world, because with acting you never know what from your world you can use at a given time, you know what I mean? So never stop learning. Also too, with acting, I'm in a writing class right now, y'all. I just wrote my first 10-minute play. So like,
what?
Yes. And I am like so proud of that for me.
Snaps for that. Oh my goodness gracious.
And once again, it came out of the desire. I finished MFA in May, and I was on my theater company, Town Street Theater. Shout out to Town Street. I was on their website, and I was like, okay, I'm done with school. What else can I get into? Sometimes I have this real bad habit of like, okay, I finished one thing. What's next?
Oh, I know. Same. Yep. Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Yep.
And so I saw that they had a writer's workshop, you know, for playwrights, and I was like, well, I'm not a playwright, but and the description was like, you can be beginners, intermediate, and you'll learn how to write a 10-minute play. So Wednesday, literally this past Wednesday, today's Friday for those listening, this past Wednesday, I shared my 10-minute play called The Seed of Forgiveness with my group. And it's a play that's close to my heart. Obviously, it's my first play, like writing and taking that discipline that it takes, but it's something that I've always wanted to do. And so my advice is, I'm making this very long, but my advice is, you know, anything that you can get into that just expands your world, just do it.
Yeah.
Do it. I'm really trying to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. That has been my motto. Like, if I have that feeling of squirm and like, I don't know, I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. Like, one part of my brain is like, do you really want to do that? And the other part of my brain is like, yep, go.
Yeah.
So,
no, I want to just say, so I feel like we're on the same wavelength with that. Recently, especially, I don't know, are you guys on TikTok at all?
Mm-hmm. No, I'm not.
Okay, great.
But yes, definitely.
Okay. Well, I fall down that rabbit hole so fast.
Yes.
But there's this one creator who's like said she like put out like this thing that she like does a monthly curriculum for herself, where she like learns about something, uses the library, goes and gets like a textbook or whatever, or researches like whatever. And so she's just like, yeah, she's like every month, or like, you know, you can do a semester or like whatever for yourself, is like going and finding a subject that you then like delve into, watch documentaries on, and like, and it can be like anything, whatever, you know, whatever piques your interest. So I'm just like, I'm very much on that, like, yes, especially in the age of like this weird, where part of people are like anti-intellectualism right now. I'm like, no, we've got to keep up like our own, you know, and too, like you were saying, I mean, when we're working in the arts like this, like we use everything, you know, anything that I learn like outside of, I can write and use for directing and whatever, you know what I mean? Like any subject, you never know what you're going to write about, and then acting, you never know what's going to come up. Like you could, you know, book a role where your character is based on like a Greek god or something. So you're going to want to know that research and like research it, you know what I mean? So, yeah, you just never know like what you're going to be pulling from, and
and how interesting. There's a term for that. I'm forgetting it, but in this world of technology and where we have information at our fingertips, the willingness to be ignorant. And I really want to like fight that, because there's the YouTube University is like so amazing. And so like you said, anything that you're interested in, you can literally, there's so many podcasts, right? So many experts.
And free resources.
Resources, right? So like there's no, you know, any interest. There's no reason to turn that down for.
And your local library, don't forget your local library. Like just get a card and like go to your librarians and be like, hey, I'm looking for this, and they can help you out. Like
they're so excited for you. I literally just went in and I have no idea where my library card was, so I got a new one because I haven't used it in like honestly decades. And so and I got my kids one too, and the librarian was so excited. She's like, wow, this is a momentous day. I feel like we should clap. And then she did like a little quiet little clap, and the kids were so excited. Like they want you to be there. They want you to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're worried about like, again, it's the cost effective thing. I didn't know that there were or maybe I forgot, there are so many audiobooks that are free.
Yes.
Through the LA Public Library. And so if you don't want to physically go in,
also,
you know, get a card and
that. I didn't
do
know
it online.
That.
Yeah.
Also, there's Canopy as well. And like you can, through your library card, you sign up with Canopy and they have different shows, movies. I think they have Nora on there right now, which is like yes, I know. I just looked that up and I was like, oh, I've not watched that. I need to like watch
the Oscar
that. So
contender
it's like,
for last year. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So I need, so I don't know. They have plenty of resources if you can't like, pay for Netflix or whatever else. Like there's a streaming service that you can use.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And then I want to just share this as advice too. I'm also learning the importance of self-care. And I feel like we as artists say that so much, but like it's so, so vital to take moments and time for yourself to do something that you love. And for the past year now, every single morning, it's been tough, but every morning I've gotten up at 5 and I go either swimming or I go to my CrossFit class. And like, that is, I know it like kicks my butt, but it's because it's the one part, like I love it so much.
That's for you.
Time of my day that is for me. And that, I'm not obligated to send any emails. Nobody is expecting me. It's just me and the water or, the other people that I'm in my gym with, my mom, I worked out with my mom, the music.
Oh, I love
and
that
is just like my time, and so like, if there's like anything that like you love, I believe there's a quote that says like, find just like, if it's 5-10 minutes out of the day, that is for you. That's for Charlotte, for Jess, for Bo, for you listeners, like that's because I can't pour from an empty fountain. Right?
No.
Yep. Like I have to take time to refill my cup before I give to my students, before I give to my husband. I have to be full. So
especially as an educator too, because I'm a daughter of like someone who is like an educator all throughout growing up and seeing what she goes through. I would never want to be a teacher because you have to grade papers. When are you going to? You just put in an 8-9 hour day and then you have to go home and take that home. What the heck?
Exactly. And then do it all over again the next day.
Right. And lesson plan. And like, that's not included in your paid 8 hours. That's like free labor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kudos to you.
Thank you for the reminder. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yes. And I'm going into 4 classes this semester. I'm thankful 2 of them. I love all of the classes. But one of them I'm really, really excited for, but it is going to be a little bit more grade paper heavy. It's inspired from my thesis. I pitched a class to my principal and she said yes to it. I got my thesis.
Which is huge, especially at a school like yours. Like it's hard to get a new class through.
Exactly. And to have that support. And my thesis was on Black women in theater and film. And so we explored Black women creatives from like all across the industry as far as costume designers, writers, production designers, actors, stage managers, directors, of course. So we explored, we took that time in the semester and I broke it up into units. We started from the Reconstruction era until the present time. And I asked my teacher, I was like, at an all-women school, my principal, at an all-women school, it'd be really awesome for them to see themselves represented in the media that isn't reflective of stereotypes, for them to see themselves as women of color who have directed shows and who have become showrunners and who, have designed costumes for many of the movies that we love, but because they're maybe behind the scenes or because they're women of color, they're not as celebrated. And so the fact that my principal said yes to that, I'm really, really excited to be sharing that class with these young women to show that like the barriers that these women of color have been able to break into, because media is our influence, whether we want to believe it or not. It has it creates so many impressions on how people see and view us and how we even view ourselves. And so for me, I'm really, really excited to be sharing this class.
That's so cool.
To share how a lot of these women have dismantled stereotypes that the media has tried to perpetuate about women of color. So I'm excited. Anyway.
Oh, I love that. That is incredible.
Can I take the class? I want to take the class.
Yeah, I know. I really want to take the class too.
I know, right? I like audit.
Send me the notes, whatever the texts are. I want to just do it on the sideline.
I do want to, 2 last questions. I do wanted to ask you, and you brought it up earlier, your name, your beautiful name, because I feel like branding is so important, and you were the person who gave me, like seeing you and getting married and using your maiden name and your husband's last name gave me, I guess, the courage to do the same thing. Cause I'm like, clearly, like I can't have two last names. I can't make that. But that I was like, Charlotte did it and it sounds great and it's totally fine. Why can't I do it too? Was that a difficult choice for you at all? Or was that even like a thought in your mind? Or were you kind of like, no, this is me? And
it was not difficult at all. I was like,
that's wonderful.
It was the only thing that was difficult as far as like changing platforms and like getting IMDb to recognize me as Charlotte Roberts. That was the paperwork side of it was difficult. But I think I was like, you originally went by Charlotte Williams, right? Obviously that's my name.
Right.
And then with IMDb Pro, there was already a Charlotte Williams. So like 2014, me setting up my profile, I had to become Charlotte Evelyn Williams. So I already had like 3 names that I was going by, Charlotte Evelyn Williams, right? So I was like, okay, here we are, fine. But I really just loved, when I had said yes to marrying Mr. Roberts, I really was like, you know what? I love the way Williams and Roberts sound. It was something about that S that just like really just sounded beautiful to me. And I was like, Charlotte Williams Roberts. That's it. Like, I love it had a musicality sound to me.
Yeah.
It sounded official. Mm-hmm. I saw it in lights. I heard the announcers calling my name.
We all did, baby. We all did. We all did.
I was like, that's it. It's Charlotte Williams Roberts. And my mom, obviously my husband was like, yeah. And like, yeah, that sounds.
He's like, I'm not going to argue with it.
Yeah.
And I knew, I was like, I'm not letting go of my Williams. I just, obviously I love my last name. I love my dad. I'm very connected to my Williams side of my family. It's definitely a part of like who I am. And my mom is definitely sad because I have dropped Evelyn like officially in all capacities, and that breaks her heart because Evelyn was.
I went through that too. Yeah.
Evelyn was my grandma's name, and so she's like, my mom wanted you to be Evelyn, and now you've just forgotten the name. But I was like, Charlotte Evelyn Williams Roberts. It's too long.
It's a lot of names.
A lot of names. We're not doing that. So grandma's here in spirit, just not longer.
Yeah, I think it's important to note though, because we've heard about this before on the podcast too, with other people, with agents and managers weighing in on your name. Or casting directors too. I've had a casting director say like, oh, your name, Monique, your name is hard to spell. It's way too long. No one's going to remember you. And I was like, of course they're going to remember me. Absolutely. What do you mean? I booked the room. What are you talking about?
Like because of my work and also because of my name. My name's actually memorable. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, it's an important takeaway for people to know, you need to be confident in yourself and you need to go with what works for you. I've had people tell me, go with your maiden name and not your new last name because it's higher on the alphabet. And I was like, it doesn't matter because casting directors can categorize how they search people by agency anyways, instead of your last, like you can't plan for all these factors.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing too about our industry. It's so subjective. And one person's amazing advice could be one person's like absolutely at the top of their do not do list. You know what I mean? So like you said, it's so important to just take what works for you. And the older I've gotten, the more I've realized the value in that. And like I said, that self-worth, realizing who you are, what you bring to the table, knowing that like, no, they are going to remember me because I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to do the best, version of this character that I can. I'm going to learn my lines. I'm going to come in with choices. They're going to remember me because first of all, because of that, like I said, go into the room like God sent you there. You will be memorable. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I think it's one of those, it's again, exercising that self-worth or knowing like what really matters. At the end of the day, does that actually matter? Like, or is the cream still going to rise to the top? You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, even thinking about like Marilyn Monroe, I mean, I feel like, yes, we know Marilyn Monroe, but we also know her story as like Norma Jean too. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, and they were trying to change her name because they didn't think Norma Jean. I'm like, but Norma Jean, like we know Norma Jean too. Exactly. Like it's so it's memorable, Exactly. So cute. Cute. But yeah, I think focusing on what matters, which is like, like we said, winning the room, being memorable of who you are, and people will remember your name.
Last question. Do you have Or, I mean, of course you do have, but what are career goals that you have for the future?
My career goals are to first, I'm going to start with a 1-year goal, and then I'm going to go to something a little further in the distance. My year goal, one, I got to get some new headshots. We're going to just start with the basics, and I have to get a new agent that really understands where I'm at, and our relationship is just even more established and rooted. So that's my first goal. My longer term goals, but maybe not. I don't even want to say longer terms. Is like, oh, we'll see that because this could happen for me in 6 months. Come on, God, I'm gonna speak that.
Yes, but speak it into existence.
You know what I mean? But I would love to be a series regular for a mystery crime television show. I would love that. I love mystery. That. I love anything, like I said, with crime or some type of military horror background where there's like mystery murder component. I love reading stories like that. I'm reading this book right now. It's an older book, but it's by Pamela Nobles called Infirm Pursuit. And it's about I won't go into the full plot, but anyway, it's a lawyer who's essentially trying to solve this crime in support of her client. And like I said, stories like that are the ones that get me going. So I'm claiming that I'll be series regular and that my students will be able to watch me in action on the screen as well as in their classroom. And my perfect day would be teaching during the night and filming in the day. I would love to be on set in the day, and then because now I have my master's, I can teach at the collegiate level as well. So if I could, like I said, film in the day and then teach at night, I'd be over the moon.
Okay, great. Now Jessica has a new series to write. Homework assignment for Jessica.
I feel, Mo, you always assign me stuff. You're like, okay, write that.
Always. I'm like, oh, Jess, write that. Hey, but that's how we got our feature.
True. So. I have about like 10 things on the to-do list, but I'll find the time at some point, I promise.
At some point. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Charlotte. We love you so much.
Yeah. I also want to just like, again, say, I mean, we've talked how much we like adore your personality and like who you are, but also on top of it, again, you're just like immensely talented, obviously
insanely
hardworking.
Talented.
Yeah. Like I don't know, like when we did that web series together and you had that one scene, I won't go into it, but like, I was like, jaw on the floor. I was absolutely, because we also had like very little, I think like you and I had like very little conversation prior to that as to like what was kind of expected, I think. Sure, and you just like pulled it out of the freaking hat. And I was like, oh, okay. We're working with an Oscar.
Film, like you have to come in with choices. Like I said, as I said earlier, like go in trusting yourself. Because you may not have as much time to like talk about, like in theater, you've got, 6 weeks, you could spend a week table work and what's our message, our purpose, our theme? Film, once we got the budget approved, let's go. Like,
yeah.
And that's why auditioning is so important. But thank you. And thank you both for believing in me and calling me with like that table read that we did a year ago was just so fun. And even though obviously I'm not quite at that age of the character I portrayed. Yeah. I had so much fun reading for that role.
Don't worry, we have other things in mind for you. Don't worry.
100%. Yeah, we already have you in line for something else.
Right. Yeah. Your age. You're always gonna be called on for sure. No worries.
Like Tyrone and call me.
always.
All right. So, any of our listeners, you can follow Charlotte on Instagram at Char the Actress. The link will be also in our show notes. Check out her work on our website at www.charlottewilliamsroberts, which is 2 S's, Williams and Roberts.com. And again, that link's going to be down below in our show notes.
And you can keep hearing her wonderful, beautiful voice in the audiobook series we talked about, Descendants. We're Alive, A Story of Survival. Out on Audible. Season 2 is out now, and Season 3 coming this December.
Yes. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Char. We love you so much. Everyone needs to freaking hire this woman, by the way. If you were looking for someone, definitely reach out to her. Now, go get set.
Yay!